Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a palette that will preserve your acrylic paints so that you can squeeze them out, and even if you don't get a chance to use them all up in one sitting, you can put the lid on and your paint will stay wet until you're ready to come back and use it again. So I hate wasting acrylic paint, and this is super useful and time saving because I don't have to squeeze my paint out again. So the first thing you're going to need is a container, and this is just like a disposable container that when we order Chinese food from one of the local Chinese places, they put your food in this container, and except it's much cleaner. And I usually wash them and use it as Tupperware, but this had gotten a stain in it, so I decided that I couldn't wash away, so I decided I would use it in the art room. And these are also great for sorting projects. So I love my plastic containers that, you know, come from takeout. So what you want to do is put a piece of folded paper towel in here, and I'm just going to reuse this one because I was, you know, just used it last night. It was just for this purpose. So fold up about 2 pieces of paper towel to fit the bottom of your container. So it's about, I would say about 4 layers thick. 4 or 5 layers thick there. And then I'm going to spray this with water. You could pour a little bit of water in there depending on how dry your area is, how wet you want the paper towel. You don't really want it sopping, but you want it quite damp. And now we need to have a palette area. So you could either use palette paper, but what I like to use is wax paper because it's super cheap and easy to find. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out about twice the width of my container there, and I'm going to fold this in quarters because I want to cut out a bunch at once, so then I'll have palette paper ready to go. I'm just going to fold that up like that. Now if you have any pieces left over, wax paper is really good for your paper punches because you can punch through wax paper and it lubricates your paper punches. So keep that in mind if you are if you have dull or sticking paper punches. So then I'm just going to use this marker to trace around the bottom of my container because that will give me the size of the bottom of the container, obviously. And then I'm just going to cut this out with scissors. Easy peasy. And then I'll have 4 inserts for my little acrylic paint preserving palette. Oh, of course this wax paper wants to slide around on you when you're cutting this. Well, I've already done this. I already cut this out. I'm just going to show you, just like TV. So I already got these cut out here. Same thing. So then this goes on top, okay? So it fully covers the bottom of your little palette here. Now I don't want this to curl up. Sometimes this will curl up because it gets really moist, especially if you're using a professionally made palette paper from the art store. So what I just do is take 4 little magnets, flat back magnets. You can get them at the dollar store or Paper Mart, or you can use anything like that, little rocks even. It doesn't have to be a marble, just something for a little weight in the corner. And then you can go ahead and you can squeeze your paint out however you want. Just put all your little paints out there, just what you need. This is really great if you're doing any like work with enamels or paints like that you're going to paint on ceramic or glass, because you only need a tiny drop and they dry out so quickly. And then you just put your lid on when you're not working until you're ready to work again. And if you're really worried about it drying out, then just slide it inside of a large Ziploc bag. Now I want to show you one that I have that's actually a commercial made one, and I've had it for about 20 years. My mom bought it for me back at the store, I think called Ben Franklin Crafts, I think. There isn't any more around here, but it's a Masterson palette seal. Now they're the makers of the Stay Wet palette. I think they invented that whole idea, and the Stay Wet palettes are smaller than this, and they have like a big flat sponge, and they sell special papers to go into it and whatnot. But I got the palette seal because it was cheaper and it was a lot bigger, and I can actually set my other palettes in here. I can set a pad of palette paper in here. I'll just show you, like, this is multi-palette. I could set that right in there and work from that and just tear off, you know, I just put one sheet in there if I was going to put wet paper towels down, but you know, that covers the whole area. Again, I'd put my, you know, marbles in the corner so it didn't roll up on me. But the other cool thing about this is that I will put these cutting mats from the dollar store. The Dollar Tree has these, like 3 in a pack for $1. And then if I'm painting like ornaments or whatnot, I'll put these on my work surface and I'll paint them. And if they're not completely dry and I need to pick up, I'll set one in here and I'll put the lid of this on upside down, just kind of set it over there so no dust gets on there, and I'll let things dry. So this is super handy, and they still make these. I'm not, you know, sponsored by them or anything. I just think it's a super handy handy invention. But if you had like a large flat Tupperware cake pan or something like that with a lid that would work just the same way. And then there's some paper towels, obviously, that I'd used before, but they were good enough. They weren't moldy or anything, so I just kept them. Occasionally, you will like you can keep your paint in here for about 2 weeks, or in the homemade one. Occasionally it'll get mildewy. I'm not exactly sure what happens, if there's something in your water, or it would just going to happen with any sort of damp environment in paint. But you know, at that point you've still got way more use out of your acrylics than you would have if you had just, you know, squirted them on a regular palette and let them dry. The other neat thing about this is my oil painting palette fits in here. So if I'm working on an oil painting, and I don't like to leave just a palette sitting around in my craft room because the kids could come down, set something on it, or get their elbows in it or something, it stays wet for so long, that I'll set my oil painting palette in there, and I will put the lid on and it will keep it in place. And there's little little kind of stoppers in here to keep it from sinking in if something heavy gets set on it, and also to kind of keep the lid from squishing down onto the paints. So if you are in the market to buy something, I really like this. It's not that expensive. I think it's under $20. If you want to make your own, you know, save your takeout boxes and cut a bunch of little palette pieces while you're at it. Oops, you know what? I think I should use something a little heavier because I just knocked my marble into my wet paint. There's a little, that's a little something you want to watch. I've never done that before. That's the first time for everything. But there you have it. How to make a do-it-yourself stay wet palette. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this tip helpful. And until next time, happy crafting.